Welcome to a new episode of Covetrus Connected Care. I'm your host, Nicole Knight, and I'm Content Marketing Manager at Covetrus. Thank you for joining us. In a recent report, 58% of pet parents said their veterinarian remains the most influential source of pet health information. Hooray! Yet nearly as many, 56%, also reported relying on a combination of the internet and pet retailers for information. These figures come from the 2020-2021 U.S. Pet Health Market Outlook, which we'll link to in our show notes. Given this reality, how can busy veterinary professionals take a more active role in connecting pet parents with reliable content? Well, today on the show, we're delighted to talk with Wendy Toth, the publisher of Great Pet Care, an educational site for pet parents. Great Pet Care was acquired by Covetrus this past April. The site is written and reviewed by board-certified veterinarians, licensed veterinary technicians, certified trainers, and pet industry experts. We also have Dr. Hanie Elfenbein joining us. She is a veterinarian working in emergency services and a frequent contributor to Great Pet Care. Now, Wendy Toth is a full-time employee of Covetrus, and Dr. Elfenbein is a paid contributor to Great Pet Care. Wendy and Dr. Elfenbein, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much.
We're delighted you're here. So, Wendy, we'll start with you. Tell listeners about yourself and then what Great Pet Care is and its mission.
Absolutely. So my background is in journalism. I started out in business-to-business journalism covering consumer packaged goods for a magazine called Supermarket News, which is still doing great today. And it was written for supermarket executives. So that's where I really honed in researching the head of the household, the person primarily doing the shopping, the grocery shopping, and the person that's most important to people like supermarket executives. So I loved that niche, and it really brought me to care about parents. So my next stop was Parents Magazine, and that's where I learned service-based journalism and really writing for the consumer. And while I was there, I love pets, and I saw so many parallels between human parenting and pet parenting that I eventually moved over to the pet space, which I have now been in for about 15 years. So I worked for NBC. They had a pet vertical called Pet Side, and then Pet MD, which became a part of PetSmart. And then in 2019, I was lucky enough to be a co-founder of Great Pet Care, which is now part of this wonderful company. And our mission is to provide pet parents with primarily health information with clarity and kindness, and make sure that it is up to date and authoritative and written by all the wonderful folks that you mentioned earlier. It's important to know that I've always gravitated to work on topics, that I also enjoy in my personal life. So it's no surprise to learn that my husband and I have two boys who are 5 and 8, and we have an awesome Beagle mix dog named June Carter.
Oh, wait. Is there June Carter, like June Carter Cash? Is there a story there?
The story there is that my husband and I do not agree on much musically, but Johnny Cash and June Carter are one rare place that we agree. So that's where her name came from.
Oh, that's a great story.
And we also have a cat, Zoe, too. So, and that love and that part of our lives, the team who started Great Pet Care, we're all loving pet parents. We have a lot on our plates. And in 2019, we were talking and kind of looked around and saw that the digital publishing space was still missing that reliable pet health information that's designed for the everyday pet parent. So a lot of the sites out there today are either showing up in Google search because of how long they've been around, oftentimes with no updates to content in 10 years or more, or because they're catering to certain keywords without the level of research that we feel is truly useful and truly responsible. So that's what brought us to say, we still need to tackle this problem for pet parents.
Let's unpack that a bit further, Wendy. So, for listeners who may not have any familiarity with Great Pet Care, tell us about the types of content the site provides, how you decide what to publish. And I'm also curious, since you've been doing this for a while, any insights you've gleaned about pet parents over the years?
That was a great question and lots to unpack there. So, I honestly think it starts with my team. I've been working with an editorial team for a number of years who I am lucky enough that trusted me to come along for this ride again. So Deidre Greaves, Megan Sullivan, Karen Vitale, and Emily Berquist. So they are absolute experts when it comes to search engine optimization and pet parents. So that's always where we begin. We begin with what pet parents are asking for in their own words. So all of us love this approach because it's a gift. We all care about serving people with our writing. And by using search engine tools, we have this massive insight into the words people are using to find answers to their questions. And that's primarily how we prioritize our topics. We look at what people are asking for, and then we make sure we answer it at the right level. And I will say, the topics are not always what you think. I have to go digestion related on this one, so I'm so sorry, but this is such a big part of our life. One of the first articles we published that where we really started seeing thousands of monthly visitors to the site from Google queries is a detailed list of safe sources of fiber for dogs. So we know why pet parents are looking for this specifically, right? They're picking up poop with a little baggie wrapped around their hand once or twice a day. This is what we're all thinking about. And that string of words, sources of fiber for dogs, just wasn't being met anywhere else for whatever reason. So this is where we use our roster of excellent veterinary professionals to help us answer these questions in depth for our readers. And with that, a broader trend we've seen over the years is, probably 5 years ago, we would see a lot more people coming through searching for specific conditions or medications, which would most likely be something that's occurring after a visit to the veterinarian. So more recently, we're seeing people searching symptoms or things that they can see with their own eyes, most likely before a visit. So another example I have is mucus in dog poop is a big one that a lot of people type in. Whereas a few years ago, we might see people searching for stress colitis or something like that. So with that, when we publish, we look at all the categories we cover and we make sure that we are starting with that broader observable symptom, also talking about the condition, and then getting into the nitty-gritty of any treatment solutions that we can have people talk to their veterinarian about. So we cover health, number one, as our broad category. We cover medications, vaccinations, parasites, and you'll also see us covering things like behavior and general wellness, training and nutrition. And one other area that we make sure we address head on is new pet. So that doesn't have to be a puppy or a kitten, but it could be just anyone who's new to having an animal in their home, because there's so many questions there. So that's the broad overview.
That was so helpful. Thank you. I am just thinking now, research, as you probably well know, tells us that many pet parents turn to Dr. Google when they have questions about their pet's health. How does this reality, because it's a reality, it's happening, make reliable content more important than ever in your mind, Wendy?
I mean, you said it, it's happening whether we like it or not. So it's become really important to us to recognize that the convenience of Googling something is not going anywhere. And we see it as our job to meet the pet parent with the best information we can where they are. And that's why it's so important to us to partner with veterinarians, with vet techs to either write our content, or in some cases, we will have animal journalists writing. And then if it's medical in nature, a veterinarian will review that for us and put their name on the article with the writer to say, I fact checked this. And we also committed to make sure we re-review that content every single year to make sure the information's up to date. So keeping that ongoing communication with veterinarians in our community is number one for us. And then we hope, that with that, we can continue to develop content as well as tools and other resources that will help pet parents, but also extend to helping vet practices and ultimately the pets themselves as more informed clients walk through those doors. So I think that's why we're all here collectively.
Let's talk more about how Great Pet Care partners with veterinarians. To do that, let's now turn to Dr. Elfenbein, who is a practicing emergency clinician in Chattanooga, Tennessee. First, doctor, tell us about yourself and how you became involved with Great Pet Care.
I graduated from UC Davis Vet School in 2016 and immediately started working in the online pet education industry. I began doing FDA compliance reviews for veterinary websites and then shifted into writing articles as well. On my practice side, I started my career in primary veterinary practice and I made the shift to emergency medicine during the pandemic. I've been writing for Great Pet Care since its beginning in 2019, having previously written and reviewed for other online pet parent websites, such as those that Wendy had previously mentioned.
Wonderful. So you've got great experience that you're bringing to Great Pet Care. I'm curious, what do you see as the key benefit or benefits of pet parent education to the veterinary community?
As we've spoken about, pet parents first turn to the internet when they have concerns about their pet, long before they call a veterinarian. The information that they find most quickly and most easily influences the decisions that they make about what to do at home or if and when to seek veterinary care. There's so much bad information out there that it's incredibly important to offer accurate supplemental education that's easy to access, written in a way that's easy to understand, and written or reviewed by someone in the veterinary community, such as a DVM or a licensed technician who's appropriate to do so. Another benefit is that online information allows pet parents to learn more about the diagnoses made by veterinarians. In this day, we are so overbooked in veterinary clinics and we are all overworked as veterinarians, and there's not always time to provide the detailed information that we want to at the clinic. We can provide written papers, discharge information, but pet parents may want supplemental information written by an outside source to learn more about what it is their veterinarian recommended. VIN's veterinary partner is something that I know a lot of veterinarians use for providing additional information about a diagnosis at the clinic, but it doesn't meet pet parents where they're at when they're searching for information on a symptom or preparing to go to the veterinarian. It's also often written at a higher level than is comfortable for many pet parents, and I think it's important to be able to really meet those pet parents where they're at for both the health of the animal and for the compliance of recommendations. I've also found that some pet parents express that their veterinarian only wants to do a test or a treatment to earn money. And so when online educational materials also recommend those same tests or treatments, the pet owner can be more confident that their veterinarian wants to do what is best for the test. I work in emergency medicine, and I've seen clients go to their phones to look up a differential diagnosis as I give it to them and when I tell them what diagnostics I want to do to confirm. With content like Great Pet Care, I can be confident that well-researched, informative information is available as a reliable resource for pet parents when they're looking.
Just as a follow-up, as a practicing doctor, do you think educational pet health content can lead to better pet health outcomes? Why or why not?
I definitely do. Pet parents who can find supplemental, accurate online content can follow the recommendations from their veterinarian with confidence. Great pet care content reminds pet parents that no matter the severity, problems that are addressed correctly from the start are more likely to be resolved with a positive outcome. I can encourage them to schedule an appointment with their primary care veterinarian to discuss changes that they see in their pet or to monitor chronic diseases regularly. And on the other side of the coin, pet parents may be very worried about a non-problem, and accurate information can save them a trip to the emergency clinic.
If I could shift to a more personal question, why do you continue to contribute to Great Pet Care and provide educational content to pet parents who visit the website?
I find it really valuable to be able to stop and think about the questions that pet owners have and to write for them in a less formal or authoritative style than the discharge instructions I might provide at my clinic. It's important to me that pet parents can understand what is going on with their pet and to make informed decisions for them. Writing for an online audience allows me to give the most up-to-date recommendations to more pet parents than I can reach in my clinical practice. And it also allows me to make sure that they have the information that I, as a veterinarian, want them to have to make sure that their pet gets the best care.
And you've spent so many years developing your expertise that it's really wonderful that you have another avenue to share that knowledge. Wendy, switching gears, let's wrap up with a question for you. What does the future look like for Great Pet Care?
Great question. So, what we're really hoping to do is be able to expand into more interactive tools that help make care easier for pet parents. Things like being able to access their medical records we have today, brand recall alerts, and then we want to move into more things like medication reminders, healthy weight trackers, and really work hand in hand with our wonderful doctors and continue to stay connected to them throughout this journey so that all of us ultimately can come together and know that we're working from the most up-to-date information for the pets. So that's really where we hope to be and where we hope we're at today and want to continue to grow.
Great. And we'll be sure to include links in the show notes to opportunities for veterinary practitioners to engage with the Great Pet Care team. Wendy, Dr. Elfenbein, this has been a timely and, fair to say, information-packed conversation. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.